Evening, good afternoon. Dr. Pablo here. Hope you're having a nice day. Today's presentation is only a short one. It's about if you're traveling internationally. This applies whether you're coming here or going anywhere, wherever you're traveling. This is my take on the important things you should know about. Now, in the beginning of the presentation, it's about the actual travel. And in the end, if you need emergency passport, like you can organize a passport within a day or two. For any emergency in the US, and I'm sure most other countries have a similar system. Now, this may not cover all of your needs, so a little disclaimer, I'm not an expert on international travel. This is my experience working with people traveling here for over 10 years to South America. This is to help you get here safely, and it may apply in other countries, it may not, and so keep that in mind, okay? There may be some gaps that I have not covered properly. Okie dokie. So let's go to the first slide. Okay, so when you're organizing, if you have a passport, it's quite simple. You go online, book your flight, and you show up at least minimum of 3 hours before. If you're disabled, weak, tired, sick, I would recommend you show up 3.5 hours before. You will be the first in line, and the other important thing is to make sure you use the emergency line. Now, if they do not have a disabled or emergency line, you go in the line that is for first class. You go up there, and then when you get to the counter, you say you are disabled, you require a wheelchair. All people traveling on an emergency passport and anybody who has cancer or a debilitating disease, you should travel in a wheelchair once you're in the airport, because some of them you have to walk for a kilometer. Some of the distances are very, very far, and so I cannot stress enough, being wheelchair restricted for 2 years, I really respect and understand the importance of you understanding this. There are long queues, and you need to avoid them by going into the first class line. After you put your tickets in, they take your baggage. Now, the thing I didn't mention in the previous slide is the baggage has restrictions, normally 22 kilos. I'm not sure of the pounds. You'll have to check that. So if you're bringing, most people travel with just one bag and a carry-on. I have had people show up here with 4 bags. They brought so many things, but that's your choice. The weather here is beautiful and warm all year. I tell people to bring for maybe a couple of cold nights, so they have something to wear in the bed. But generally, the weather is nice today and better tomorrow. So then you go through security. So they will X-ray your bag and anything in your carry-on. And anything on your person, including your shoes in most cases, you need to put them out into these plastic trays, and they just X-ray them. As much as this is frustrating, it's a very good thing. It's a good thing because we do not want drugs, and we do not want knives and any problems in the plane. Flying is the safest way to get around, and it's because of these checks. The wand here is just to also check for any metal products on you. So don't be concerned. Many people around the world had these in shopping centers recently. But they are just simply metal detectors to check everything on your person. Some airports have a system now where they give you an X-ray. They actually X-ray every person that goes through the airport. This is something I choose personally to refuse. Why? I don't like to have my body X-rayed more than it has to be X-rayed. If you have an injury, you need an X-ray. But you do not want all of those rays. If you're international travel going to 3 airports today, you'll be X-rayed 3 or 4 times. It's not okay, in my opinion. So you can opt out of that. When you opt out of that, they have sometimes a policy to make you feel a little uncomfortable. If you're in a wheelchair, you can say you cannot walk through the machine. So that's fine. Then they will pat you down. So the patting down is, I've noticed when I'm there, because I'm walking able-bodied, they tend to make you wait 5 minutes, and that's fine. if that's the process, I'm not doing it to annoy them. I'm doing it because personally I do not want the x-rays through my body more than I have to have if I need to have something done. So this is a simple process. They ask you, would you like to have this done now? In front of everybody, or would you like to go to a private room? I always say no, do it now, and it's over and done within 2 minutes. If you're male, a male will do it. If you're female, it's usually the policy that a female does the pat down. After that is done, you then collect on the other side all of your goods, so your handbag, your wallet, your keys, anything that you put in the trays, and your little bags should be there waiting for you when you get through the other side. Then you don't forget to collect them. That's important. You can walk off and forget that you had them. Don't forget to collect all of your items back in the wheelchair, and the person from the airport is pushing you. So you will just hold your bags on your knees. When you get to the area waiting for the flight, this is important. You may not need to go to the toilet, and I'm going to use this word a little bit, baño. Baño is Spanish for toilet. You may not need to go to the toilet, but 30 minutes before the flight, go to the toilet, and then you may avoid needing to go in the flight, which is much more comfortable. So keep that in mind. Toilet, try to plan that so whether you need to go or not, go anyway before you hop on the plane. They normally put disabled people in first, so you're in and you're comfortable and you've got your seat. Make sure when you arrive early you can choose window seat or aisle seat, and that's something is very different for each person. Here we see a common national cabin. There's 3 seats on each side. So when you're getting your tickets, A is the far left, B is the center, C is the aisle, D is the center, E, and then F is the window. This changes, of course, if it's a giant international plane. They have 2 to 3 seats on the left, 4 seats in the middle, and 2 to 3 seats on the right. So you will have to ask when you're boarding, or if you're booking online and you get to choose your seats, you will see the model that you simply check a box to do that. I'm not covering that in this video. People who are not familiar with flying, I suggest you see a travel agent. And that's it. So you will be waiting around for your flight for it takes an hour to get through the checkout, to get in, and then you've got another hour or 2 for the flight. Inside, once you're inside, there is restaurants, there's toilets, there is coffee available, meals, and so on. So it goes pretty quickly, and just moderate your eating when there also is food given on the plane. And if you're very strict on your diet, you make sure you use this opportunity to buy things from the shop that you know that you're going to enjoy. From the US, you have a 4-hour flight to us. So it can sometimes be a little less, sometimes up to an hour later, depending on the plane, on how fast it flies and if it has to go around anything. But generally, it's a beautiful flight, not a lot of turbulence. We don't have big storms here. Normally, we don't have big storms. It's the weather. You cannot predict it, but I've flown in here dozens of times and never ever had turbulence. It's always been a nice, smooth landing. So that's good news. Sometimes you have to travel far. Let's say you're coming from Canada. You may fly into one of the borderline places, even Panama, Texas, or Florida. So you have a stopover. This is very important. At the stopover, you have an option. If the stopover is 1 or 2 hours, you will be gotten. They automatically do this, yes? You're in a wheelchair, they will bring the wheelchair, they will take you to your next flight. If you have a long stopover, I personally suggest you stay in a hotel overnight and have a good night rest and fly the next morning. So you plan your flights like that. You fly all the way there, and then you have a stopover and so on. If you have a stopover, of course, you do have to collect your luggage. If you're not having a stopover that includes sleeping, you don't have to collect your luggage. your luggage is automatically transferred to the next flight. Well, this image is displaying what is called a lounge. All of the airlines in all of the international airports have what is called a lounge. It's about $50. Some are $30, maybe some a little bit more. I haven't paid more than $50. They're all beautiful, clean places. You pay the $50. So let's say you have a 12-hour stopover. You can choose to stay in the airport. It's crowded, lots of people, lots of disease, people coughing, whatever. Or you can go, they bring you straight to this lounge, you give your passport, you pay the fee, and then you have available nice clean showers, nice clean toilets, unlimited food, unlimited drink, unlimited coffees, unlimited juices. So this is what I do. I recommend it strongly, especially if you're traveling with children. This is a lot more economical to pay the lounge fee and to have the option of a choice of nice, good quality food. The other advantage, in most places they have a booth which has recliner chairs for up to 4 or 6 people, and so you can get a booth to put you and your children in, and then whoever else is traveling with you can organize your food and so on. So this is called a lounge, and again, if your stopover is 3, definitely if it's 4 or 5 hours, a lounge is strongly recommended. You simply ask the person pushing the trolley, take you please to the lounge of the next flight company you're flying with, and then you're good to go, and they will leave you there and they will come back and get you before your next flight. You don't have to worry about that. That is one good thing about having a wheelchair, that they are looking after the times. We've skipped now. So then you have your flight, which is not here in an airplane. So you have your flight. In the flight, there's meals given usually, or drinks. You may have to pay for these, and they only accept credit card. That's a really good thing because it takes away the confusion of different currencies around the world. Also, in the stopovers, you can feel safe to use your credit card and to do all of your purchases, including pay for the lounge. So when it's time to get your luggage, this photo is just to demonstrate. You can notice the lady there has some like a floral thing on her case. I think it's a good idea, especially if you're in a wheelchair, to put on your handbag that you're carrying into the plane a ribbon, whatever color it is. You put the same ribbon on your baggage, and then when you get off, the person may only speak Spanish. You can say your bag has this ribbon on it, and then they will go looking for your bag for you, so you don't have to get out of the wheelchair, and they will find your bag much easier. Okay, so just back here, I'll just go back. Don't forget the lounge, very important. Don't forget the baggage. Also, you need $1 to get a trolley. If there's a few of you, definitely you need a trolley. If you've only got one bag and you can put that on your knees, fine. It's easier for the man pushing the wheelchair to push the wheelchair and the trolley than it is to carry 2 bags. So just keep that in mind. They do not have change when you come to the airport. It's not automated. It's not a machine. There's a place where you pay the dollar. I've gone there, can you believe it, with $10, and they could not give me change. I could not get a trolley. You need to make sure you've got a dollar note or a dollar coin. Here they have both here. The currency is US dollars, so you need a US coin of $1. They do not take credit card for that. The only thing I would be critical of in our airport is that one thing, that you can arrive with no change, and I arrived here once with 6 bags, and they did not have trolleys for me. It was so difficult to manage to put all of those 6 bags together, and those that follow me have seen the video I done on that. Okay, so here's a couple of things that you need to know in Spanish, and I won't go through them. You can get them to play on your computer so they can be presented correctly. But the most important one, I think, is baño, because you need to go to the toilet. Pastillo or pastelas is tablets. So they're the important one. Maleta is suitcase. luggage, but they usually know these words in the airport because they are used to people coming with different languages. So you shouldn't have any trouble with any of these. But baño, toilet. When I first got here, I used the word pipi, and they understood. So, but they don't know what is a toilet or a bathroom. Okie dokie. That's all straightforward. The wheelchair, when you get to the airport, they all know what is a wheelchair. It's needed. You don't have to prove that you need these things. Okay, it's against the law for people to ask what is your health issue. So you just say you need a wheelchair because you cannot walk long distance. It's as simple as that. You do not have to share your health issue with anybody. We do give you a document that you're traveling, that you may be having surgery and you're coming for a wellness program, and you can present that. We have not had, and I have had people present it, but most people do not need to present it. They weren't asked for it. They just done it because they were nervous. Or he's a paper explaining what I'm doing. It is important to know the first night of accommodation where you're staying. The airport security asks this in case on the plane they find something or they discover something. They want to know where you are. So you can let them know where you're staying. We put all that in writing for you. We are always waiting outside the airport to greet you. So once you come out, you go through security. The same in reverse as when you went into the airport in the USA. The same will happen in reverse. You still get screened and everything on the way out. They like to make sure that you're not bringing drugs. However, often the screening is very quick. There's no x-ray machines. They choose a certain percentage of the people to check the luggage. Often somebody in a wheelchair is just allowed to go straight through. It's a very quick process. The delay a little bit for the luggage. We usually stay at a trip. It's a Wyndham chain, which most people are familiar with the Wyndham chain. We don't always. It may be booked out, so we choose another one, but we stay at a nice quality apartments, and the breakfast you wake up to is a smorgasbord. It's a whole line of food, and it's a beautiful, quiet, safe environment. This is a typical apartment that you'll stay in, so they usually have 2 beds like that, place to sit, and of course the shower and everything. Omni Hospital, if you're having any medical treatment done, we usually use Omni Hospital. If you're on a very low budget, we have the same surgeons go to a different hospital, which is much more economical, and this is a choice that we make when we're planning things with you. Okay, so this is very, very important, and for those people who do not have a passport or their passport is out of date. The passport needs to have 6 months on it before you fly now. That's a new international law. So if you're not a regular flyer, there needs to be 6 months on your passport. So have a read of that. If you have a life-threatening case, which is anybody with cancer, okay, even if you just have a small breast cancer, it's life-threatening because every day that it's still growing is a problem. You need to get rid of it. You cannot wait 3 to 6 months to get your passport. So in the last page I put the website to go. But if you need an urgent travel, the phone number there, the 1-877-487-2778. They're open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. You need to call them. Now, before you call them, you need to have your flight booked. Now, you can change that after, but they're going to make an appointment for you the next day. The appointments are in their offices. You have to look online where you live, where their offices are. I do know there's one 5 minutes from the international airports in both in Texas and in Florida, because we have had people lose their passport on the way and they got it replaced the next day. The hardest thing in this process is it can take up to 2 hours to get through on that 1877 number. It's a problem. It takes a long time. But once you get through, the next day you have an appointment. The next day you will have an appointment. And then the appointment, they say come back the following day or that afternoon to pick up your passport. They make the passport I presume in the building. It's that quick. but you must have your flight booked. So you need to call them. Let's say you're flying next Wednesday, and today is Friday. You call them, make an appointment. The appointment will be for the day before the flight, or the Monday or Tuesday. So that may mean flying to Florida if you're doing it in Florida, staying in an apartment close to the airport, and getting a taxi to this building, picking up your passport, and then getting a taxi back, and then leaving on your flight whenever that is. They do not allow, if there's no flight book, they will not allow the process. So the process needs to confirm that it's urgent. You've booked the flight, you have surgery booked in here, and treatment booked in here. We have a letter for that, and they will have the passport done in a couple of days. It's expedited. Travel that is not related to an emergency, it can take 14 days for the appointment, and it can take up to 6 weeks, I think, for the passport. But this is something you can ask them when you call them. Some places, let me make it clear, some places are not familiar with the emergency process in the building. So I've had people ring up, they say, no, there's no such thing as the emergency. I know there is the procedure, because we have a lot of people who have used it. We had people show up, yes, we've got passports, but they didn't realize they only had 6 weeks on the passport. One had 6 weeks and the other one had 5 months, and you need 6 months plus to fly. They don't allow you to fly now without the passport being over 6 months. In case something happens and you're delayed there, the passport needs to be at least 6 months long. If you're having the passport mailed to you, when you send your papers in, if you send a prepaid return express envelope, they will use that to put your passport in, so that it arrives whatever you paid for. So that is if you're using the mail service. Okay, so then there is again the number 1-877-487-2778 between 8 and 10. And there is the website that I got. The copy of this text is from that website. So go and read it, understand it, and organize your passport. I've had people saying, I'm thinking of coming to you or traveling to Japan for some service, or Mexico, whatever. You need, whatever you're choosing to do, the first thing you do is organize your passport, and then organize where you're choosing to go to. The passport is not to be the last thing, because I've had people become paraplegics and die at home organizing things that should have taken a month, and they ended up taking 3 months because of the bureaucracy and the errors, and there was a spelling error on a document or something like that. It just, unforeseen delays is frighteningly terrible, and you can avoid that by just getting this in today. You can if you go online to any of the places where you book flights, you can pre-book a flight with the guarantee and then cancel it. You couldn't fly that time, you get a full credit, and then you rebook the flight when you're ready, but at least you have your passport. So that's one little travel tip. Book your flight, organize this, and if you need to delay a week, make sure you have the insurance on it. It's not a problem. Very, very important. So I hope this was a little help. Let me think of anything else. We meet you at the airport. So from the time you're at the airport onwards, we hold your hand. If you arrive in the afternoon, we take you out for a nice dinner. If you're having surgery done the next day, we organize blood tests in the morning. You can eat a little bit. Minor surgery, if there's a major surgery, there's no food allowed, just a little bit of juice. And then after the surgery, it depends on you and the time of day. If it's late, we'll stay again that night, rest and relax, and then head to your apartment the next morning. In most cases, the same day, as long as we're arriving in the daytime. We will travel straight after the hospital to a beautiful restaurant, because all clients are hungry, they haven't eaten at all, and then we head to your apartment. Just remembering there's a deposit to confirm that you're interested. Until the deposit is paid, we don't know really if you're keen to come or not. It's $7,750 minimum deposit, and once you confirm the 3 months, we book and prepay your accommodation here. That needs to be done to confirm that when you're flying here. Now, 80% of the time or more, we don't have trouble getting accommodation. But if you're booking and it overlays a holiday here, Christmas, New Year's, and this presentation will be up for years and different times of the years, there's not 100% guarantee of accommodation. So, and that money is fully refundable. But we need to get your month deposit in to book your accommodation, so then you're set to go. There's no problem. We prepay for the 3 months plus a bond, which usually we don't get back, but that doesn't affect you. It's part of our costing, and so we price that into your travel. So that all of this is explained to you in documentation we send you, so everything is very clear. We like to make sure we over-deliver and you don't have anything to worry about. So just a couple of things people may ask: can you bring your family? Yes. Do we have carers for your children? No, but it may be able to be arranged. This is the top place for the international retirement for US people. So there's a lot of beautiful people here that are available, and we may be able to organize somebody to pop in for 3 hours or 4 hours a day to look after children, but that's not common. We have done it a couple of times. Most people come with an adult only or adult children, and that's fine. They're safe to look after themselves. When you arrive here, we have what is called induction. So we cover all of the things to do and the not to do's. Just like certain states in the USA, there's certain times of night you probably wouldn't go out, and certain areas you may not go into, although we are in a nice tourist area, and the shopping centers are very safe, and your apartment is next door to the army camp, and you couldn't get a safer place to be in, and so all good. That probably covers everything I need to cover. No, there is another thing. Medicine. So if you're bringing medicine and you've got a few bags, you need to share the medicine between your bags. If there's one bag, in 3 instances in 10 years, we've had people's bag, they don't all show up. If you're bringing a lot of bags, one of them may come 24 hours later on the next flight. Not a problem, we'll get it. But if you've got your main medicine in there, and it's pain medicine or it's critical medicine you need, that is a big problem. So please share your medicine out between your bags, your carry-on. You can carry medicine onto the plane, your carry-on, as well as in your handbag, in your bags, in case you get up and you leave your handbag in the bathroom or something and you arrive without it. It's a problem. So make sure your medicine is spread between your bags. Very, very important. Most places, when you buy the ticket, will make it clear you cannot carry fruit and so on the plane. Although we're happy for you to sneak some vegetable seeds to us for unique plants, fruits and vegetables, if they allow that. What else? Yeah, the main thing is medicine. Clothes are medium priced here. Food is the vegetables and things that they grow here is very economical. And the things that they import is probably 10% above the price of US. Food is around $100 a week. I usually quote 1,000 because some people choose to live in restaurants. They like to go to the restaurants to eat. So if you're going for a restaurant meal, you're paying $10 to $20 a meal, where if you're eating at home, it's costing you $3 to $5. So that's just a guide. Pasta is $1 to $2 a packet of pasta, and the special sauces are around the $2 mark. Milk is $1 a liter, and so on. So the prices are similar. Internationally, all prices are pretty similar. They have an import tax here, and an money exiting the country tax, which puts about 20% on the cost of imported products. One grocery store does have imported cheeses and special products that you may be interested in. Most people are, and so those ones will be a little bit more than you pay at home. The language here is Spanish, and our doctor does understand English, although she chooses to speak Spanish and use a translator in case she makes any mistakes. I'll wind up now. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to you having a safe travel and meeting you in the airport. Bye for now.